Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome in the kitchen with Hallie Faye. Hope everybody's had a good Sunday. It was a pretty day here, and we've had a productive weekend. It's been a good weekend. I got all my Christmas stuff put up and everything. Buzz got a lot of honey-do jobs done around here. We've done good. I'm working on some supper tonight. I just got through doing the video earlier today for the pie. I'll show that to you in a minute. I made that berry pie. So I'm going to do, I will put that video and this one on the channel tomorrow. I can't do it tonight. It's football night, y'all. I got to watch some football. But I'm going to make this video tonight and then I'll upload it tomorrow to my channel, okay? Y'all can see it tomorrow. But any-o-hoo, I'm working on our supper and I'm making this Fiesta Skillet. And it's made with stuff that pretty much you can have in your house. And I've got a couple of ingredients that you may not have on hand, but you don't have to have these. You can go along with some other stuff out of your pantry that works just fine with this. But I have this stuff and I love using it. And I'd suggest you get some sometimes if you're making anything Mexican food like stuff, because it's really good, y'all, and it's authentic stuff. But anyway, I'll get there in a minute. Right now, I'm starting off. Let me go ahead and put it down here. Y'all, I've got me a pound of hamburger meat browning, okay? And I've done drained the grease off of it. So I have 1 pound of hamburger meat browning there, okay? Got it all separated out real good and everything. The next thing I'm going to do is I have chopped up here. I have 1 big onion chopped up and a little old handful of some jalapenos out of the garden. Now listen, you make up your mind, that's your choice about the jalapenos, right? If you want to even put them in there, or even how many, or whatever, But I think y'all already know that I like to do some spice with my stuff. So we're going to take them onions and peppers and let them kind of saute a little bit in this hamburger meat while it's browning. And when we get through with that, we're going to add us a cup of rice to this and let that rice brown a little bit. But let's get these onions going here. This is some good stuff, y'all. By the time I get everything all done, it makes a nice big skillet of it. And now, like I say, if you're fixing this for your kids, for the family, you may not want to put the jalapenos in there. You can do without the jalapenos. That's just something I just want in there, right, for Buzz and I. But I'm going to make this big skillet of this dish here. Let that brown for a minute. I'm going to let this be browning. And this has rice and corn. And look, I have the water, the liquid that's going to go in it. I want y'all to see this. See how red looking that is? What that is, y'all, is this stuff. The adobo, and I keep this in my refrigerator. Look, it's a paste, okay? It's a paste, and look, it says that on there. Wait a minute, let me get it around there too. Okay, now, whatever that word is, I don't know what it is, but I know it when I see it, right? But my girlfriend that does authentic Mexican food cooking helped me to get all these ingredients and stuff. But this stuff here, it's like a bouillon type stuff. But it doesn't have a lot of salt in it, so I'm not worried about over salting my dish by using that for my liquid that I'm going to add, okay? And then the other thing I like, and I love this stuff, y'all, it's the adobo, and it says all-purpose, and I call it an all-purpose Mexican seasoning. And it's, I don't know, I always smell of it and try to identify. But it just smells, like garlic and salt and pepper and onion powder. And, it's almost like those things are already all mixed together in one. But anyway, it's a great all-purpose seasoning for anything. This doesn't have to be Mexican-y, tasting. It can be anything you want to put it on. But we're going to use some of this tonight, too. But the main thing I wanted you to know is for my liquid here, I'm using that because this recipe calls for broth, okay? This is the broth I want to use. You can use beef broth, chicken broth. And if you don't have that, you can make it up with the bouillon. But remember, that bouillon has salt in it. So when you go to adding all this other stuff in here, keep in mind if it's got salt in it or not. Because we're going to add 1 packet of taco seasoning to this. And we know this stuff has some salt in it. But just be careful with your salt thing. Keep that in mind if you're using whatever you're going to use for your liquid that's going to absorb into your rice and complete this dish. Okay? It's browning nicely now. I've got it pretty much where I want it on my onions and peppers. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my 1 cup of rice. Regular old, there it is, you can see it a little bit. It's just regular old long grain rice. Plain rice, 1 cup of it, okay? And we're going to put that in there, and we're going to let it start browning with this meat and onions and peppers. If you brown your rice, it just, oh, I just love to do brown the rice some. That just makes it better. You don't have to, but like with this dish, I would say I would. I absolutely would. So just give it a little time now, and let your rice go along like this. I'm going to show you some other things I'm going to do with our meal tonight. Once we get the rice, the liquid in here and stuff, and got to let that rice cook, right, for, you know, like, I don't know, 25 minutes. Isn't that the all-around time period for rice cooking? Oh. All right, so far we've got a pound of hamburger meat, 1 onion, some jalapeno peppers, and a cup of rice browning in this skillet. Make sure you got a pretty nice size skillet, because you know this rice is going to swell up, and we got one other ingredient we're going to add to this that makes it really good. That surprise you a little bit with that in just a minute, but I want this to let that rice brown just a little bit in there. Look at that, it already looks good. You already know it's going to be good just by looking at that. Okay? Alright, the next thing that we're going to add in here, y'all, let that brown a little bit while I'm talking to you. But I have in here, I've told y'all, let me see, I've told y'all that I don't keep canned corn, that Buzz grows our corn in the garden, and so if I want whole kernel corn for something, I just take me some cobs and cut it off, and I've got my corn. If I want to make cream corn out of it, I can do the same thing, but we do have cream corn in the can. That's a lot simpler, just take it and use it, but I didn't think I wanted to put cream corn in this recipe. We want some whole kernel corn. So it's 1 can of whole kernel corn is what you would use. It just so happens I just am using fresh, and you talking about good. The difference in the taste is just amazing. But if not, use your can of corn. It's good in it. Don't be worried about it, okay? So I'm going to put it back down here. Oh yeah, see the rice is starting to get a little brown on it. Y'all may not can see that from right there, but you can see what I'm doing with it. You can hear it popping. That's the rice doing that popping. But let it get a little golden brown on there. And now we're fixing to add our corn to it, okay? 1 can of whole kernel corn. And I just scraped off of the cobs what I thought was equivalent to a can, right? It's not a science on this one. It don't have to be exact on that. Like I say, you know, the same way about the peppers or the onions, or, you know. But this is a good recipe, y'all. It turns out really good. Okay. We've got all that put in there now. Now we add 1 can one of the small cans, what is that? 8 ounces of tomato sauce, just regular tomato sauce, okay? Just do the regular tomato sauce in it. You put that in there. And then now is when you're going to add your liquid. And I have, it's just under 2 cups here. If I need a little more, I can just add some water to it, right? But, you know, with rice, everybody knows that with rice, if you have 1 cup of rice, you use 2 cups of water, okay? But look how pretty this is going to be. Y'all, this stuff right here is so good. It is so good. I'm so glad she showed me that stuff. I knew nothing about it. Like I say, I still can't even pronounce it. But I know what it is when I see it in the store. That and a few other Mexican seasonings she showed me. So I'll look for them when I go in there. And I'll do some other recipes that have these other seasonings that she's showed me along the way. To show y'all with some stuff. But see, now we've got our liquid in there. I'm going to just take it and turn the fire down. See, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking I want a little more liquid than that, y'all. Let me do this. I'm going to add me about 1/4 cup more, y'all, okay? Just to make me feel better about it. You know, just because I want to feel a little better about the liquid in there. Now it's time for me just to turn it down, and we're going to let it simmer. Make sure everything's covered good in there. Can you see? Okay. Make sure everything's covered good in there. And now we just turn it down. Okay, I got to put a lid on it. I'm hoping this lid will work. It won't. Okay. I'll just put this one on there. This one's a little big, but it still covers it nicely. Alright, and I'm going to turn my timer on for 25 minutes. Okay, we got that going, right? Now, the next thing I'm going to work on while this rice is cooking is my refried beans. And I wanted to show y'all exactly what I do on that. We had pinto beans the other night, right? And so I had this many beans left. And what I did, can you see there's the pot liquor from the beans in this bowl? And all I did was take those beans and I heated them up in a pot so the liquid would come off of them, but I just drained them through this strainer. But I'm reserving some of this pot liquor to add to my beans when I start getting them smashed up and stirred up and everything, okay? So it's just regular old pinto beans, all right? There's nothing else in there. It's just pinto beans, all right? So all I'm going to do with that is take my skillet, if I can get this off of here. I'm just going to take my skillet and I'm going to get me a little bacon grease. Y'all know bacon grease is the thing, don't you? Bacon grease makes anything good. We get a little bit of bacon grease. We're going to get that in there and I'm going to let it get my, see, look, I'm probably getting me a big old wad. Can you see that? About that much of it. We want some grease in there. If I have to add a little more, I will. But I think that'll be sufficient for what we're doing. Now, I don't have to put anything in these beans. I mean, they've got salt in them and stuff. And you can make your beans spicy and do all kind of stuff with them if you want to or whatever. I may shake a little bit of this adobo all-purpose seasoning in there or something, you know. But that's up to you. You can add some flavoring and stuff to your beans if you want to do that. But this is a great way to manage your leftover pinto beans. It's just one of many. But most everybody likes refried beans. There's very few people that don't like refried beans. So we're going to get them going in this skillet. I need to get me a smasher. And this is my favorite, y'all. It's just one of them old-timey vegetable smashers like that. You can use whatever kind you want, but this is my baby right here. I love this one. So for the moment, all I'm going to do is just put these beans that I've drained in this grease. Okay. Now I'm going to take my, yeah, you can see me. Okay, I'm going to take my smasher here and just start, you just push on it and turn, right? And now all that bacon grease is going through there. It gets the grease, the bacon flavoring all stirred up in it really good. You just keep smashing them, and the longer they sit here in this skillet, they'll get, you know, that much softer. So you can tear them up. And some people like to have a little bit, some people don't want them just solid creamy, you know, or whatever, but I just cook them, I'll just smash on until I'm satisfied. So, you know, I'll smash on them a little bit here, let them bubble some, then I'll smash on it some more, right? But that is all we're going to do with these beans, y'all. Let me get them smashed up a little bit, and I'm going to put some of that adobo seasoning in them. This has all the spice and everything. This dish here, this Fiesta Skillet, has all the spice and everything in it we need. That the beans will be a nice, you know, offset for all that spicy and everything. Because this stuff isn't spicy. This is just very flavorful. That's what this is. Adobo all-purpose. Okay? I'm just putting me some in there. That ought to give them a good little flavor there going on. So, you know, you just stir them around and keep smashing them up. I'm going to turn it down now and just let them bubble. I'm going to add just a smidgen, y'all, of that, of this pot liquor in there a little bit, just to thin them out just a little bit, right? Okay? That's probably going to be all I want right there. That'll help make them creamy. And the longer we let them sit here and cook in this old iron skillet like this, the better they get. And the texture gets better, everything. That's all you got to do to them. I'm going to get me a little spoon and taste and see. I know them boogers are hot, but I'm going to taste of them. I'll get one of the kids' baby spoons. Hey, it's plastic. It doesn't hold the heat. Yep, I just want them to sit there and cook. They taste like refried beans, you know what I mean? That's what they are. They're refried beans. Really, there's, you know, not much to say on that. But the one thing that's good, that tastes really good in them, is the bacon grease, y'all. That gives them some good flavoring. It really does. And I've got some pieces of bacon all in here that were in the beans that I threw in there when I cooked them. So, I'm going to just turn that down and let them sit here and bubble. And we'll give that a little bit of time. And when the time is up on this Fiesta Skillet, I'll come back and I'll take you the rest of the way on what we're doing with this meal thing tonight to enjoy this, show you how to enjoy this beautiful dish. It's going to be good, y'all. It's good stuff. Be back in a little bit. Okay, guys, it's fixing to be 25 minutes, but I think that I want this skillet to cook a little bit longer. I'm going to let it cook for maybe 10 minutes longer. I've got it on real low, but I just want to make sure that that rice is done, okay? So this will be 25 minutes when the beeper goes off, and I'm going to put it back on 10 minutes, okay? And another thing, guess what I forgot to do a while ago? The little packet of taco seasoning. Y'all don't remember when I put that in there, do you? Because I didn't. So I had to take it. I thought about it after I'd done started cooking it, but it just started cooking. So I took me some and took that little packet and put it in some little water, and then I just poured it over that rice stuff and stirred it all up in there and put the lid right back on it. But when you put your taco seasoning in is when you put your liquids in there, okay? That's when you put your packet of taco seasoning. But I'm going to come back. I will at the end of this video tell you, in order. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to reset this for 10 minutes. Okay, my grease is getting hot. What I'm fixing to do here is I'm just going to take, I don't have any corn tortillas, but we like the flour ones just as good, y'all. Do y'all like the fried flour tortillas? What I'm going to do is take a couple, I've just got a couple of them. I'm just going to cut them with my scissors here. You cut them however you want to, right? I'm going to cut them in some triangles. I just use my scissors. It works great. Saves you a lot of time. Okay. Let's see. Yep. Okay. I'm drop them in here. I just got me, just enough grease for them to float a little bit. It don't have to be a whole bunch. I'm going to let them get puffed up and crunchy here. And take them up. And then I'll show you all the goodies I've got over here to complete our plate with. While this rice is finishing up in this dish. I'll go through the recipe again with you. Get me a couple forks so I can flip these things. We like them. My niece will take them and fry them up, and then while they're still got a little bit of grease on them, put some sugar and cinnamon on them. We'll eat them up. They make good little snacks. You can do a lot of things with flour tortillas, y'all. They're one of those things that's kind of like crescent rolls. There's just recipe after recipe after recipe that you can do things with them with. And float around in there and get good and crunchy and puffy. That's all I do with that. Got me a little old pan here with some paper towels. I got my refried beans in this bowl here. I took them up in this bowl so they sit here on the stove and stay hot while I'm doing the rest of my stuff. All right, I'm gonna take these up. I'll show them to you up close in the pan. Let me get them taken up here. Better not touch that with my finger. You seen I thought about it, didn't you? It was a second thought, though. I had a second thought. Thank goodness. Okay. I don't want it to burn that. Well, hopefully it'll stay right there. Fall out on the floor, and then I'll have to. But see how it does them. So see, we'll eat these with it, kind of like some puffy chips, or whatever. We're gonna do that. This rice is finishing up. I'm gonna show you. My board stuck to it, but look at the berry pie, y'all. Doesn't that look good? That's gonna be our dessert after this. That ought to come together nicely after eating that Mexican food and the Fiesta stuff, and then get you a big old plug of this berry pie. And I even put some dumplings in it, y'all. Let me wash my hands off. I put me some dumplings inside in the center of that pie, but I did that in that recipe, so if you watch that video, you'll see it. But we have our refried beans, our fried tortilla chips, and then I've got our goodies chopped up over here and stuff. I've still got 5 minutes left on that, so let me let that time go down and I'll be right back. All right, y'all, now we're ready. Okay, let me put it down here where you can see I just took the lid off of it. Put it up here up close where you can see. See how it looks? Can't hardly hold that with my one hand. But what you do, oh, I want to say this, that I ended up, y'all, at the 20, okay, wait a minute. What was it? I started out with 25 minutes, right? Cooking on the rice on this Fiesta skillet. I started out with 25 minutes. When I checked it, my rice still wasn't done like I wanted, right? So I added 10 more minutes. Is that what I did? I added 10 more minutes to it. I'm trying to think there. I should have wrote it down. I added 10 more minutes to it. Yes, that's right. I added 10 more minutes to it, okay? Well, I checked it again. And what I ended up doing, was putting another 1/4 cup of water in there because it had already absorbed all the water, and I still just didn't think the rice was where I wanted it. So I added me another 1/4 cup of just water and stirred it all in there and put the lid back on it, and I let it cook 5 more minutes. So it cooked for 40 minutes, okay? On the real low heat, real low heat. So it cooked for 40 minutes. When I turned the fire off, I left the lid on it and I let it stand for 5 more minutes, okay? But let it sit there and cook. You know, your rice might cook a little quicker than that or something, but we're gonna get this water, the liquid measurement, a little more than what that original recipe that I had came across that time called for. But see, that's where you have to kind of watch your dish. You know, you have to see what it's gonna do on rice and stuff like that. But all we're gonna do is take it up. You just take it and put it on your plate like this. And then, do I have a spoon for the, let me get a spoon here. The beans. You just take some of your beans and put them on your plate, okay? And get you some of your little chips. You know, if you want corn tortilla ones, you can do that. But see, you do that with it right there. I'm going to set it down over here, and then I'm going to bring y'all over here. Let me put my lid back on it. There we go. All right, let me see if I can bring y'all over here without having a major flub up. Okay. Bring all my cords around here. Okay, because I want y'all to see. All right, let me get around here. Just exactly how we go about. Okay, so see, I have here, I've got me some chopped up lettuce and some little fine chopped up green onions, right? So you just, but the first thing you do while it's hot is get you some cheddar cheese and grate you some cheddar cheese on it right now. You can do this in your skillet if you want to, and go ahead and put it on top of it in there and put your lid back on it and let your cheese melt down in it like that if you'd like. Okay, put you a little bit of cheese on there. And next we're going to do, let's go ahead and do like a little dollop of sour cream on there. You do it like that. The next thing we're going to do, looky here, I've got some green chilies, and me and Lynn like the hot ones. It's the little chopped ones, y'all. Just take them and sprinkle across the top like that. Add you a little bit of lettuce on there, a little bit of your green onion, and then just add you a little bit of picante sauce. going across the top. And maybe one more little, how about one more little dab of cream cheese, sour cream. That'll be good on there, y'all. Let me wipe my hands off here. And I'm going to show you. Get that thing out of the way. Let's get it down here where you can see. Y'all look. That's what it looks like. This is your Fiesta Skillet right here with your refried beans and your chips going on. What do you think? Would you feed that to your family? I would. I think we're going to enjoy this, and when we're through with that, we get to have, look at that, big old homemade berry pie, y'all, to top it off with. That's what you do. Okay? Now listen, I'm going to read this off to you again real quick before I get off of here. This is for the Fiesta Skillet, okay? You have 1 pound of hamburger meat, 1 onion chopped, jalapeno peppers chopped, you know, whatever you want to do with that, right? 1 cup of raw white rice, 1 can of whole kernel corn, 1 packet of the taco seasoning, and 1 can of tomato sauce. And y'all know that with the taco seasoning thing, or with mine, I added, I'm going to show that to y'all one more time just because. Oh, I left it out in there that you have to have, you have to have 2.5 cups. Now that I know, by the time I got through adding to it, add 2.5 cups of your liquid, of your broth, whatever you're going to use, beef broth, chicken broth. Like I say, it doesn't matter. But if you want to make it good, you use this and make you some broth out of that. Put that in there. And that makes it really, really good, y'all. Along with the adobo seasoning that I like to put in my stuff. These 2 things right here, y'all. Otherwise, if you don't have that, don't worry about it. Just use your taco seasoning packet. It works just as good, y'all. It is good with the taco seasoning in it, okay? And then 1 can of tomato sauce, if I didn't say that. So you brown your hamburger meat, drain the grease off of it, add your chopped onions and peppers, kind of saute them, excuse me, kind of saute them in there a little bit, and then add your cup of raw rice, and let that rice kind of start browning in there, right? When your rice starts getting a little bit of golden brown going to it and everything, add your can of corn to that. Drain that can of corn. Make sure you drain it, okay? So you've got that can of corn in there, and then you're going to add, stir that up, and then you're going to add your can of tomato sauce, your 2.5 cups of broth, and your taco seasoning packet. Stir that all in there. Like I say, eyeball your liquid. Eyeball your liquid. You know, you have to kind of gauge that, but like I say, I upped this thing to 2.5 cups, so that should be enough. That should be enough for you. But be sure you cover it good where the steam doesn't get out from you, and turn your fire down real low and let it simmer for 35 minutes to 40 minutes. Real easy. Just let it just simmer, and then turn that fire off and leave the lid on it and let it set for 5 minutes. And you've got it. And then you can make your refried beans. That was easy, wasn't it? Some leftover pinto beans, a little bit of bacon grease, put them in the skillet, mash them up with that bacon grease, and let them bubble around in there, you know. Add seasonings to it if you want to, or just leave them nice and plain. They're good. They're just regular old refried beans, and they go with anything. So, here's the Fiesta Skillet, y'all. I hope y'all try this recipe. And right now, it's a good change from the holiday foods, because we're going to be eating the turkey and dressing and ham again real soon, right? Any-oh-hoo, y'all give this a try, and let me know. see if you liked it. It's really easy. It's really good and tasty. And it doesn't cost much. So it's cost efficient. And it makes a lot. It'll feed a lot of people. So, any-oh-hoo, y'all take care. And I hope y'all have a good week coming up. And everybody just stay blessed. And I love you guys. In the kitchen with Tally Faye.